Finally got all my drone stuff back from the police station. Just in time for DJI to bring out a new FPV drone and probably new FPV goggles. Is it going to render these completely useless? Well, obviously they're not going to be completely useless, but will they work with this new FPV drone? That's what I want to know. We're going to have to wait till 2 PM to find out. 3 hours. So I bet you're wondering why my drones got seized by the police. Probably a topic for another video, but basically the long and short of it is somebody complained about me flying my drone near the airport. I actually had a permit issued on that day for flying near the airport, and they just sent the cavalry round, came in my house and took all my drones away. And basically everything else they could think of, like cameras, computers, tablets, God knows what else. Anyway, it's all done and dusted now, so it's time to get back to flying. It's a bit annoying though, because I thought I was getting pretty good. But after about 5 months of not flying, I don't really feel like I've actually lost it. Right, so seeing as I got my drones back from the police, I thought I'd give my little IH2 a go. I've stuck a Hero 8 on the front. I don't know if it's going to fly very well, but we'll see what happens. Okay, so I've been out on a bit of a bike ride and missed the launch, but it's now on the website. Look at that, looks pretty cool. So there's a lot of specs, and there's obviously the video you can watch, just the normal marketing kind of spiel. This looks like it's, I don't know, I was reading somewhere it's supposed to be like some sort of modular design, so you can basically replace bits. I mean, the main thing about FPV is you normally just crash stuff all the time, so you know, to be able to repair this is probably going to be, I don't know, it's not going to be cheap if you want to repair it, is it really, to be honest? But that being said, it does seem to have quite a lot of kind of safety features, and I don't know, again, I don't know if they work in the high speed modes and stuff. But so this combo set, it looks like they're doing it with the goggles V2. So obviously I've got V1 goggles, so I don't know, again, I need to find out if it will actually work with those. This controller looks pretty neat though. It looks like we've seen leaked pictures of all this sort of stuff, but this controller looks pretty good because it looks a bit like the Tango controller, which is a nice, you know, nice feeling controller. It doesn't look like you actually have to have a phone connected or anything, which is good. You know, that's one of the things I sort of hate about kind of the other DJI stuff, is you've got to have the phone connected for it to work. Just my little setup that I usually take out with me, it's just a small little drone, a few batteries, the controller and the goggles, and that is just ideal. Just plug it all in, it just works. There's no like, you know, faffing around with the phone. You haven't got battery issues with your phone or anything like that. Let's just drill into the frequently asked questions on here. So if we look at this, it just says, what's the difference between DJI FPV goggles and the DJI FPV goggles V2? It says FPV goggles support 5.8, whereas the DJI FPV goggles support V2 support 2.4 and 5.8. Doesn't really tell you much on that page. There is this other little tab here which says goggle functions, and that says, are the DJI FPV goggles V2 compatible with other aircraft and remote controllers? And then it just basically says check the latest firmware updates. It's kind of like a bit of a, yeah, grey answer really on that one. So does this drone actually work with other FPV goggles or not? So if we go over to HediGuy website, it's one of the UK sort of websites where you can usually get all this stuff pretty quick. They've got the DJI FPV combo on there with everything. So drone, controller and goggles. It looks like all the other bits are actually, well, the V2 goggles are in stock. The drone, no, I don't know if they are actually. I think V2s are, yeah, they've got 4 units, so it's obviously not, yeah, not very many. The drone itself is out of stock, so they obviously haven't released this yet as a thing on its own. The controller is out of stock as well. Yeah, so basically what they're trying to do is obviously start off with this combo. Ooh. Specs look pretty good though. You know, with DJI the camera is just going to be on point. You're going to just get solid kind of 4K footage from there. And I think it's got this rock steady thing as well, which I'm not really sure what that is, and decent light. 150 degree field of view, 800 grams for the drone, which is, or 795, which is pretty hefty. Look at that though, 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 2 seconds. That's in manual mode. I wonder how many people are going to stuff this as soon as they put it in manual mode. To get a 2 amp hour 6S battery as well, it's pretty standard for this sort of stuff. 10C discharge rate, pretty usual. I think you actually do get a battery with the FPV goggles, which has always been my gripe. You know, if you're into FPV, you usually like have loads of lipos lying around, but even so, you know the goggles are expensive, so you'd expect to get a battery with them. And they do now come with that, so that looks pretty good. Getting 20 minutes flight time. I mean, anyone that can do FPV for 20 minutes, I'll take my hat off to him, because you start getting tired after about 5 or 6 minutes. All in all, I think that combo set is actually quite a good deal, because you know the goggles, my Tango, and you know my little iFlight drone, you know any of the drones, you know you buy off the shelf, and you've got to buy batteries and obviously the charger. It's going to easily come to that sort of money, and you still don't get obviously a high quality camera on there as well, like a GoPro to put on the front of it, so you can capture high quality footage. So this is kind of everything in one. It's a bigger class of drone as well, so it's going to fly faster, more stable. I think really this is not really kind of a, you know, it's not really true FPV, because true FPV in my mind is, you know, when you're actually into the hobby and you're building your own drones, you're kind of, you know, tweaking stuff and kind of, you know, repairing things when they go wrong, changing props every 5 minutes, all this sort of stuff. This is really kind of just a fast camera drone, I would say. To me, it looks more like a, you know, kind of a higher quality, and you're not going to want to chuck this through, you know, goalposts and, you know, through narrow gaps, and you know, you're not going to want to risk smashing the thing to pieces, are you, at that sort of level? So yeah, now the repairability kind of thing on this stuff is key for FPV. I mean, you're never going to be able to get a completely modular DJI product, but I don't know, still looks good though. And being as I haven't actually got another big drone apart from the old Mavic Pro, which, you know, doesn't fly fast. It has been tweaked a little bit, but you can get a little bit more speed out of it. But so yeah, this could be pretty exciting. Again, other things to think about, the privacy issue associated with all this DJI stuff. You know, I know firsthand that there is actually, you know, there are systems out there, I think they're even made by DJI, that can track drones in areas. So basically, you know, if you're flying where you shouldn't be, you are going to probably find that one of these days, you know, you are going to get hunted down, which is quite concerning for privacy aspects, but good for safety, as long as you're not doing anything you shouldn't be. So always fly, you know, where you should be flying, and don't fly where you're not, and you'll never have a problem. I mean, if you're flying DJI FPV stuff, you've still got, you know, your Caddx Vista in there, which is, you know, communicating with the DJI goggles, so that's still a DJI system. So whether that gets picked up, I don't know. But I know these systems can pick up the control systems for controllers like this, which is obviously used for the little Mavic Mini and also the Mavic Pro. Whereas other FPV control systems like Crossfire and some of the others, you know, this is just more of a grey area, so, you know, who knows. But basically, in a nutshell, just do your homework, where you're going to fly, be careful, don't fly where you're not supposed to be flying, and you should be fine. I'm now using this drone assist app, which basically tells you where you can or can't fly. So you just sort of fire this up, zoom into where you're going to be flying, and it'll just give you the heads up of, you know, if you're in a no-fly zone or anything like that. And in this case, it just says follow drone code, so you just use the normal drone code. So guys, that's it for this one. What do you think on the drone? Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on this whole thing. Quite exciting times, I think, but obviously you've got to be aware of what these things are and what their limitations are and everything else. Anyway, that's it from me. Catch you in the next one.